Good evening. I want to call to order the regular city council meeting of August 17th, 2021. If I could everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mayor Racy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Porter,
Here.
Councilman Dowd,
Here.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Here.
Councilman Wagner,
Here.
Councilman Brock,
Here.
Councilwoman Watts.
Here.
Quorum is present. First item on the agenda is a call for a moment of silence for Thalia Jean McGill, who's the wife of former firefighter Owen McGill, Norma Collip, who is a former Wayne City clerk, Judy Shelton, wife of Chamber of Commerce President Stan Shelton.
Thank you.
Item number one is to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda with the amendment of adding item 4A1, approval of the resignation of Jeremiah Snyder,
Jeremiah Webster.
Jeremiah Webster. I'm going somewhere. From the Wayne Planning Commission effective immediately due to the recent move out of the city of Wayne. I think it's
Move to approve Skiff. Or second.
Any questions? Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item two is city council minutes. 2A, regular meeting of August 3rd, 2021.
motion to approve. Dowd. Support Porter.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Public questions regarding items on the agenda.
Okay, anybody with a question tonight? Okay, please come to the podium.
Is this for any and all of them?
This is for anything on the agenda.
Okay. With the rezoning of the property at 31650 Van Born Road, how much is this going to cost?
We're not we'll just ask your questions and
Okay. All right. The one on 6A, the adoption of planning commission bylaws, are we going to get any information on that? What exactly these bylaws are?
Okay.
And then I guess, when the police department, no offense, Chief Strong, when the police department was built, okay, and we had the money in the city to actually put in it, okay, was this not thought of? You know, is this like, is it failing? Is there something going on with the HVAC system? Like, I'm just, curious, because I do care about the police. It's not that, but, we need to be mindful of how we're spending because we just purchased the 2 cars for them. And I'm just thinking like, how much more are we giving and instead of putting back into infrastructure and things that are really important? So, and I'm not against the scarecrow thing, but about this contest, since I've only lived here 2 years, um, how can I guess, help in any way for it? But also, who normally like hosts this? Is this like city council? Is it something that like the citizens have always done? I'm just curious what's exactly going on since we're all becoming more face to face with each other. So, yes.
Okay.
And also, I guess, in the contest, if you win, what exactly is it that you're winning? And is this, being mindful of the cost of things, but not just for businesses or citizens, but for what the prize may be? Think maybe a little more outside of the box instead of like money or, something different.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You have a question or just saying hi? Hello. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and move the agenda.
Item number 3 is ordinances and amendments. 3A, approval of first reading of ordinance 2021-05, proposed rezoning of the property at 31650 Van Born Road, ID number 55-024-99-0019, 000, from R3 multifamily to B1 Business Limited.
Move to support Skiff.
Good evening, Ms. Goen.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I guess I'll start by answering the resident's question, and it didn't cost us anything for the rezoning. It did cost the petitioner a fee to bring this request forward. This is very exciting. I'm glad to present this to you tonight. As you all know, the church. Jeff, if you could please put my photo up, I'd appreciate it. This is a request that was presented before the Planning Commission on August 10th. We held a public hearing. There were no comments from the public. The City Planning Commission has recommended approval. What you have before you this evening is the former church at Van Born and Merriman. To the east, you have Chestnut Court Apartments and the CVS. To the west, we have Hickory Hollow Apartments. Immediately to the west, we have the proposed multifamily living development that Mark Martin is going to develop. Penn Family Funeral Home has come in, and they would like to purchase this property from the church. The request this evening is, this is currently zoned R3 multifamily. This is a nice transition because it will not have a large impact on traffic or the surrounding area, and you do have multifamily on both sides of this property. This evening is considered the first reading of the ordinance. Your next meeting, we would have the second reading and the adoption. And I can take any questions that you may have this evening.
Any questions from council?
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. Not to be morbid about this all, but is there any restrictions on any of the chemicals or anything they use? I'm not familiar with a funeral home and the way they do the bodies. So is there anything along that line that may affect our thoughts on this?
No. So basically, Mayor Pro Tem, what would happen is they have to follow state guidelines with the embalming that they will do. Think of Utes Funeral Home. It is right next to single family residential. They do the same thing there at their facility. So they will be state approved, state inspected. So they do have to follow those guidelines to make sure that everyone is protected. That's a good question.
Anybody else?
How many funeral homes does this group currently have?
I think this is going to be their second funeral home. And just so you all know, and it was brought up at the Planning Commission, this is not one of the funeral homes that was on the bad radar, so to speak, in the past. Just want to let you know that because you all know on the news, we've seen some funeral homes that have had some issues. The Penn Family Funeral Home, to our knowledge, has had no issues of that type.
Okay. Councilwoman Skiff?
Thank you. Lori, so I'm assuming that the names listed on here on this that we were given, they were all contacted about this?
Yes, they all received, that's what we are required to mail to all property owners within 300 feet of the proposed rezoning, and they all did receive letters by mail. It was also posted in the Observer.
Okay, and there's been no feedback from,
Nothing.
okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from council? Okay, seeing none. So we just, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4A1, approval of the resignation of Jeremiah Webster from the Wayne Planning Commission effective immediately due to recent move outside of the city of Wayne.
Move to approve, Wagner.
Support Dowd.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4A, approval of the appointment of Joseph Hubbs, Thinbark Street, to the Wayne Planning Commission to fill an unexpired term until January 2024.
Motion to approve, Porter?
Support Was.
And just so council and people at home and the people in the audience know, Joseph Hubbs, he's a 40-year resident of the city. Joseph has experience with blueprints, elevations, and has general building knowledge. He is a departmental leader with Ford Motor Company. This is part of the RC process that we're going through. So we have some information that they have requirements to try to find the people that we want to best serve the community. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4B is approval of the appointment of Denise Adkins of East Lawn Street to the Wayne Planning Commission to fill an unexpired term until January 2024.
Move to approve Skiff.
Second, Brock.
Okay. And Denise Atkins, she's a 7-year resident of the city. She has 20 years of experience in real estate field. She's a licensed realtor and property manager. She currently works in our building and engineering department and is very familiar with the city ordinances and how zoning code and ordinances work. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4C, approval of the appointment of Annetta Gruich of Richard Street to the Wayne Zoning Board of Appeals as a member for a 3-year term to expire August 2024.
Move to approve Was.
Support Dowd.
And she's a 60-year resident of the city. She's currently working as a cashier in the finance department. She has knowledge of how our ordinance and zoning code work. She has very good knowledge of the city of Wayne and wants to be a part of making sure we have a thriving and vibrant community. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4D, approval of the appointment of Len Fisher, Winifred Street, to the Wayne Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term to expire August 2024.
Move to approve, Brock.
Support Skiff.
And Len's a 9-year resident of the city. Len currently serves as an alternate member of the ZBA and will now fill a vacant position as a full member. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4E, approval of the reappointment of Don Quarles, Howe Road, to the Wayne Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term to expire August 2024.
Motion to approve, Porter?
Support Was.
Any questions? All in favor? I'm sorry.
Talk about
Yeah,
it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I don't have any.
Item 4F is approval of the reappointment of Michael Hurley of Mildred Street to the Wayne Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term to expire August 2024.
Motion to approve, Porter.
Support Skiff.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4G is approval of the appointment of Charles Cross of Meadowlawn Street to the Personnel Board for a 3-year term to expire August 2024.
Move to approve, Wagner.
Support, Porter.
Any questions? All in favor? I'm sorry.
Aye.
Hold on. I forgot this one. Charles Cross, he's a 42-year resident of the city. He's a retired Ford Motor Company administrative supervisor for 35 years. Mr. Cross's experience in dealing with personnel matters at Ford Motor Company will make a good member for this board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sorry about that, guys.
Item 4H is approval of the appointment of Tina Jean Marie of Winifred Street to the Parks and Trails Committee.
Move to approve, Dowd.
Support, Brock.
And Tina's been at a lot of these, the cleanups and all of them, and has really shown that she really wants to be a part and shown very some interest to take it to another level and want to be part of the Parks and Trails Committee. I think that's a really great step. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 5 is communications and reports. 5A, revenue and expenditure report for period ending July 2021. This is a receive and file.
Receive and file Skiff.
Item number 6, general items. 6A, adoption of planning commission bylaws.
Move to approve, Wagner.
Support Was.
Okay. Good evening, Ms. Goen.
Good evening again. We continue to talk about RRC, and for those of you in the audience that don't understand what that is or maybe new, it's Redevelopment Ready Communities. And this is a certification that the city of Wayne is striving to complete through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And basically what that does is it sets certain standards for new development, redevelopment, how the council is to conduct themselves, how boards and commissions are to conduct themselves, how to recruit new members, just a very wide array of how this city should be operating, what should be on our website. So this is just another step in that process. And that process is that each board and commission shall have bylaws. Now, when I came in 2016, the DDA had bylaws. We did strengthen those bylaws. Tonight, you're looking at the Planning Commission bylaws, and to answer the question, what are bylaws? Bylaws are the rules and regulations in which each board and commission shall operate. You will have the Zoning Board of Appeals. I completed that today. That went to Mr. Byton and the city clerk. The next Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, they will have their bylaws in front of them. Then they will come to you as well. We already have brownfield bylaws in place that you completed quite some time ago, or you approved, excuse me. So those will be added. So that checks another box off of our certification requirements through the RRC. And I can take any questions any of you may have at this point.
Any questions from council? Councilwoman Swass?
Can we answer that question as well? Is there somewhere that the citizens can get a look at those bylaws?
Yes. So once these are adopted, there's already a spot on the Planning Commission page, and it says Planning Commission bylaws. Once you adopt these tonight, they will be able to click on those tomorrow morning. If the IT department gets them there, I sent them this morning, and they will be able to read the bylaws. The DDA bylaws are already on their page.
Any other questions?
I question, I know I emailed this, page 2, item F. It seems like it may have been edited and not clearly edited on the top page 2 of the bylaws.
No, that was not edited.
So that reads correctly.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Hmm.
None of the members of commission shall hold any public office. So in other words, they can't be a state representative. They, you know what I'm saying? They can't hold public office,
Okay.
except the one of such members may also be a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. This is something that is dictated through the Michigan Zoning and Enabling Act. And a member of the Planning Commission would serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals. And just to explain to the council, and I had conversation with Councilwoman Skiff yesterday, it could also be a member of this body, but I did reach out to McKenna to make sure that what I knew was right. 99.9% of the cities around us do have a planning commission member that serves on the zoning and board of appeals. You're all going to be getting an email tomorrow with guidelines for our zoning board. The Michigan Municipal League put together a very nice handbook for zoning board members, and it's going to give you the understanding of how the planning commission and zoning board work hand in hand. Now, you should know our representative on the planning commission, if a item comes before that individual at the planning commission and they vote on it, they would abstain at the zoning board level. If the item comes before the planning commissioner as a zoning board member, they would abstain at the planning commission level. So they do not vote twice, so there is no conflict. And that is dictated as part of the act through the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, and we do follow that. And I hope that answers your question. So no, that was not amended.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 6B is adoption of the Wayne County Hazard Mitigation Hazmat Plan.
Motion to approve, Dowd.
Support Was.
Okay, Chief Strong.
Thank you, Mayor Racy. So the adoption of the Wayne County Hazardous Mitigation Plan is just formalizing our existing relationship with the Wayne County Department of Emergency Management. We've worked with them extensively during the pandemic and the recent flooding, and this just formalizes it. I've reviewed the plan. It just lays out the various emergencies that could exist in Wayne County and how the different municipalities in Wayne County, including us, and Wayne County will work together. I will add that we need to adopt this plan to accept any type of FEMA funding down the road, whether it's from this flooding or future emergencies.
Okay, any questions from council? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 6C, approval of the fiscally distressed cities, villages, and townships grant in the amount of $35,000 for further improvements to the Wayne Police Department's heating, ventilation, and cooling system, the HVAC.
Motion to approve, Dowd.
Second, Wagner.
Good evening again.
Thank you, Mayor. So just a little bit background on the heating and cooling system in the police department. The police department was built in 2014. Frankly, we've had problems with the heating and cooling system since we've moved in. Just in the relatively short time I've been police chief, we've put thousands upon thousands of dollars of repairs into it, and our utility bills were quite a lot for the size of our building. So 2 years ago, City Manager Nasserini put in for a fiscally distressed villages, cities, and townships grant to upgrade the HVAC system with the hopes of a total replacement of the system, which frankly would probably cost in the neighborhoods of $750,000. We did not get that, but we did get a $100,000 grant to kind of start the process. So we used that grant a year ago to replace basically like all the electronic workings in the system. And replacing that has saved us tens of thousands of dollars in utilities already. So even though there was no match, this $100,000 grant, it didn't cost the city a penny, but quite frankly, the grant's going to pay it for itself just in utility cost. So the grant that you're faced with today, again, it's for $35,000, but there is no match from the city. It's not going to cost the city of Wayne taxpayers a penny. And this will just be further repairs to the system. Without getting into the weeds too much, there are 100 and some valves in the roof of the police department that control the HVAC system, that control the water from the boilers as far as getting hot water throughout the building. About 70 of them need to be repaired. They leak frequently. Right now in our roll call room, there's a couple trash cans collecting water. My office, numerous things have been ruined from water leaking. So these repairs all these valves will be replaced with the grant. We'll use the other money toward other repairs in the HVAC system. But again, short version is it doesn't require a match from the city, and it's going to get us a little towards a better HVAC system.
Any other questions from council? Okay, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6D is approval of the Wayne Downtown Development Authority's request on behalf of Wayne Ripple Effect to hold their annual Scarecrow Contest and Reception beginning September 25th, 2021 until November 4th, 2021. Council, there was a typo on the memo. Just want to make it clear that the location is going to be on westbound Michigan Avenue from 2nd Street to Pershing and Wayne Road, westbound Michigan Avenue to Glenwood. So.
Okay. Wish your council.
Motion to approve, Porter.
Second, Wagner.
Okay, good evening, Ms. Goen again.
Good evening. I have Sam Rainey here with me this evening. Sam is a member of the Wayne Ripple Effect. Sam did come to the last DDA meeting and sit down and have a great conversation with us. We're very excited about the Scarecrow program again this year. We did put some guidelines in place that you'll see outlined within your packet that the Ripple Effect did agree to. The DDA is in agreement of this activity in our downtown and will assist in supporting it. And I'm going to let Sam speak at this time.
Good evening.
My name is Sam, and I'm representing Wayne Ripple Effect. And to answer one of your questions, we're a nonprofit, and we've been doing the Scarecrow since 2012. So I'm here just requesting permission to affix the Scarecrows to the light poles. And if approved, we would install on September 25th by adult volunteers, and then we would have them removed by November 4th at the latest by adult volunteers. The location would be the same as in years past. We have from Michigan Ave, we go from 2nd Street. We typically go to Elizabeth, but if we have enough Scarecrows, down to Pershing, and then from Wayne Road, from West Michigan Ave to Glenwood. And then we would like to hold our Scarecrow reception on Saturday, October 16th. And if the Scarecrows are approved to be put on the poles, we'll then reach out to the appropriate official to schedule the Derby's Alley time for October 16th. And then we're also going to be putting a protective barrier on the bottom of the frames and enforcing weight and size restrictions to protect the poles as much as we can. And then this event is something the citizens look forward to. So with your permission, I hope we can move forward with this. And thank you for listening.
Okay.
Sam Mallory, thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
There was a question about the prizes, how that works out and how the judging, maybe talk about that a little. Thanks,
So,
Sam.
At the reception, we do have announcement of the winners. We have a Facebook contest winner, and that's voted by the likes on Facebook. We have Judge's Choice winner, and we have a in-person voting winner. And all of that money that we donate for that is from a donation from a generous business in Wayne, Kurt's Caps. They don't donate the money for us to do cash prizes. So,
Okay. Any other questions from council? No. Sam, I just wanted to say thank you for coming to the DDA. I know that all of the DDA members were very appreciative to have you come and speak with us. And all these conditions you guys are fine with that were in the letter?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I definitely know that the DDA really appreciated you coming, and thank you for you're taking the time out to try to make Wayne a better place. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, council.
Item number 7 is administration reports.
Okay. City manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I have a couple of updates. There were a couple of items. There was actually one item on the last, there was a question about the Mill Trail. and from Mrs. Pride about disturbing the owls and the habitat. And I wanted to, if I can, ask Councilman Brock, who's a nature enthusiast, who also has a lot of information about the habitats of different species in our trail systems, in our rivers, and throughout our city. He's done a lot of background checking on this, and he was going to address Mrs. Pride's concerns about the owls with regards to the new lighting on Mill Trail. If we may?
Do you have a copy of that?
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather you read it because then I would feel like I'm plagiarizing you. Thank you.
This is some information in response to concerns about the impact of owls along Mill Trail Park. Just as an aside, a few years ago, I approached the Department of Natural Resources about taking steps to ensure that birds of prey can be supported in the parks in Wayne. They told me I could just wait for their return. Yikes. All the work being done in the parks by the city as an organization and by its citizens is setting the stage for their return and will allow them to stay and flourish like the family of red-tailed hawks that has taken up residence along the river in Dynamite Park, adjacent to the meadow by the lifting station. At a recent meeting, concern was raised about disrupting the habits of owls that may live or frequent the Mill Trail Park, which is located to the west of Gowdy Park and connects by direct walking and biking route Wayne Road and 2nd Street. There are 3 types of owls that live in southeast Michigan year-round. These are the great horned owl, the barred owl, and the tiny eastern screech owl. Beginning with the eastern screech owl, they begin hunting after dark, the exact time being dependent on season, weather, and if they're hungry. Eastern screech owls live in woodlands and places with open spaces. A breeding colony of them live in Central Park in New York, so the lighting and design of Mill Trail Park should not disturb them in their habits if they return to that area. Though barred owls do most of their hunting right after sunset, and later they also feed during daytime, the light installations along Mill Trail Park should not disturb them and may actually assist them should they return to this area. Now, great horned owls have a different set of hunting habits and terrain that they prefer. They prefer hunting along forest edges, meadows, and patchily forested open country. As Mill Trail Park is primarily a riparian habitat, that is, it's situated closely along a river, it's unlikely that great horned owls would take up residence there permanently. To support the installation of lighting along this trail, we must first consider citizen safety. The lighting will allow visual inspection of the trail by public safety officers and others wishing to use the trail. The lighting should also deter individuals or small groups from using Mill Trail Park as a place for various questionable and even illegal practices. By installing the lighting, it will also be a cosmetic addition that will encourage others to enter and use the park as the walking, hiking, and biking trail it was designed for. With its paved service, it's also suitable for citizens who travel by individual motorized transport, and so increases accessibility to the park and the natural world for these individuals and groups. The lighting will help take the next step in making Mill Trail Park more accessible, which allows citizen contact with the history of the city of Wayne, as well as draw attention to the work and opportunities presented by this natural area. For example, due to the series of events that has occurred along the Rouge River, many parts of the habitat area are not balanced. That is, even though the area might technically be considered habitat for the screech owls and barred owls, the actual state of the area is such that it doesn't seem suitable for them. The lighting along the trail and constant maintenance of the trail will continue to encourage much needed citizen interaction with the area in order to assist in the restoration process of this area, and therefore ultimately impact the river itself in a positive fashion. Counterintuitively, the installation of lighting along the path may induce these creatures to return to the city environs to take up their rightful place in the natural world along the banks of the River Rouge in the city of Wayne. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. And then Lori, I'm going to have you come up this evening to talk about some of the updates on the housing developments taking place and some of the land deals we're working on.
Yes, thank you. So tonight I'd like to talk about Kiwanis Park. You've all seen the underground work has been done. We did receive some actual renderings of what the models will look like last week. They're very nice. They did inform us that they've already taken 4 deposits on lots before they even put the models up. This is very encouraging. And the reason that's very encouraging is if you remember, Infinity Homes also has an option to gain control of, of Angelo DeMario Suwin and Vandenberg, which are 3 very large parcels that they have the opportunity to develop with, whether it's multifamily or single-family housing. Reno Sove, who is the president of Infinity Homes, did inform Mr. Byton and I that probably by October or November, they will let us know if they're prepared to exercise their option to purchase that property. If that's the case, then we can count on hopefully over the winter coming together with them and working on a plan of what that new development would look like in our community. So this is great news for our city, and it's only going to drive our home values up. Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. I'm excited to talk about the Parks and Trails Committee. We hadn't had an opportunity. We met once before a park cleanup, but the Parks and Trails Committee met last Tuesday for a couple of hours, actually. And I'm pleased to say that there's a lot of enthusiasm by the group, and I welcome Tina to the group as well. And I see Eric is here this evening. The Claremans have been outstanding volunteers at the parks. They have shown up for all of them, including Quentin, and he is a park enthusiast who sends me letters all the time about getting these cleanups on track because he's ready to roll. And so I really appreciate it. And so Eric, please extend my thank you to Tina for her volunteering. We are going to be taking a little bit of a different focus moving forward, which I'm excited. We have decided, and I hope that if there's anybody else that's interested in being on this committee, we meet once a month, but we do a lot of park cleanups. We do a lot of community outreach, things like that. But we do have some spaces. So if you are interested in serving on this committee, please, by all means, let us know. But we'll have we are going to have a table. First thing, we're going to have a table focused specifically on parks and trails in Wayne at the outdoor vendor fair at Gowdy Park on Saturday, August 28th from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. And the National Kidney Foundation, with the help of Councilman Brock, who's a member of the Parks and Trails Committee, is going to be providing some outdoor activities. So we've got a lot planned, and I think the entire group is excited to be out there and to engage with the community and start becoming ambassadors a little bit more towards the parks and getting people enthusiastic about utilizing the parks and trails because we have a pretty awesome system here. We will have a park cleanup one more this year on Saturday, October 9th from 8:30 until 12 noon at Gowdy Park. We have a lot of work to do down here still. There's quite a bit of maintenance. I did see sadly that someone has broken out a bunch of the spindles, smashed them on the lookout over the river again. And those are just some of the challenges we continue to face. It is unfortunate that the summer does bring a lot of vandalism. We've lost thousands and thousands of dollars, and Ed can certainly, answer questions about that. But we've had bathrooms completely destroyed at Atwood Park. That's why we don't leave them unlocked all the time. I know the citizens would like to see them unlocked, but unfortunately, we end up with thousands of dollars worth of damage consistently. Cameras do very little. Sometimes they work. Sometimes we've been able to catch some people. We have cameras, in certain places, and they haven't been exactly the best to catch people, depending on how quickly it happens, what they're wearing, and if the camera's functioning properly. But we do have that park cleanup, and I want, barring any new mandates from the state with regards to the Delta variant, with COVID, the firefighters are planning to have their pancake breakfast that same morning from 9 to noon right across the street. So we're trying to coincide that event. So come out and do maybe a couple hours of cleanup and then head over and have some pancakes with the firefighters. I think it's going to be a great day. Hopefully it's a nice sunny day. The committee is also going to be working on events for 2022 during the fall and winter months, which will include outdoor family opportunities and more park cleanups. And again, I wanted to close by welcoming Tina to the committee as well. I don't know if we talked about this at the last meeting. I think it was after, but the museum, through the help of the Wayne County and former Mayor and Commissioner Al Haydes, and with Lori's help and the mayor's help, who are the CDBG Community Development Block Grant representatives for the city, and then also to Tyler Mall, Nicole, and Albert Demetrio, we were able to secure a $191,000 grant for the museum rehabilitation, which I think is great. I think that's an awesome jewel, and I think it's great that we're going to be able to finally fix the roof and do some address some of the structural matters there as well. So that's awesome. And I know that there has been some streetlight outages at intersections with the weather, whatever it may be, and there's just sometimes outages. If you could help us out and continue to report those to the Department of Public Works anytime you see them, we do appreciate it. That number is 734-721-8600. We have received, when we do have reports, Ed has received some funding back to the city for lights that have been out for extensive periods of time. So we do push back on DTE to make sure that we're getting reimbursements when lights are not working or functioning. So please help us and report them. If you have a time frame, that's helpful too, because Ed has to provide as much information as possible. And again, as I always do every once in a while, I try to do it every meeting, but I want to thank all the employees for their continued hard work, and the council as well. You know, we're all still doing more with less staffing, but we do do have the absolute best employees. And I want to thank you for your dedication to the community, all of you. We have a tough hill to climb. We've climbed a lot of tough hills that just keeps getting steeper sometimes. But thank you for your dedication. It does, you are doing a great job. And thank you to the citizens who step up and volunteer as well. Sam, the Ripple Effect, thank you for coming tonight, and it's going to be a great event. So, Mayor, that'll conclude my report.
City Manager, did you want me to?
Oh, yes, Mayor, you did ask, there was a great letter that was sent to the city that we were going to ask Tina to read about complimenting the staff.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Tina, for the reminder.
Edward McCormick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. To whom it may concern, I have been working with Brandon Braun for several weeks on a problem. He has been very understanding of my situation. He has been more than helpful, professional, and just downright great. He is an asset to the building and engineering department. I also want to express my gratitude to the animal catcher that answered to call to remove 2 dogs that were in a house that I was renting out. The renter was not taking care of them and refused to get them help. I called and the animal catcher was out there within an hour. I want to thank him for the quick response. I also want to thank the City of Wayne Police for the drive-by on my property prior to the closing of the sale. They made me feel that the property was safe. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. That'll conclude our report this evening.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Now it's time for public comments for matters not on the agenda. Pursuant to the Michigan Open Meetings Act and the enacted procedures and rules of City Council, now is time for public comment. Any questions will not be answered this evening, but the appropriate person will make their best effort to respond by the next council meeting or as soon as possible, provided you state or leave your contact information with the city clerk. Approach the podium and state your name. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Please state your-
Osborne,
Okay.
City of Wayne. I would like to know the cost of police services for, that is intended for the Gowdy Park security. Services in the past have been denied for the Wayne High School homecoming. They were denied. And also the hospital October run, which is an annual event, also did not happen. And they were aligned by the word, we have budget constraints and we can't afford the police services. We have the police services more than we did when you said no. So as a public outing, I would like to know the cost that the patrol cars that are going to be around to take care of the situation. Also, this is a fund, and I believe that they should have some bonded security officials there when there's a lot of public people there that could be drinking or open items and booze and save us a lot of problems. I've read a lot of reports from your department, Chief, and in prior years, and They seem to be in there. Mr. Bosnick, I'm sorry I did not get your answer about my question for how many lawsuits are pending against the city of Wayne, either individual or in whole, WHOLE, from the Risk Management Authority. I wanted that as a dollar value. So you can take it as 1 year or 2 years. Okay, I don't know what you would like. Other than that, I'll have to FOIA it to be more explicit. And in closing, wish that the city manager and anybody up there in council would address the power outages that are going on in the city of Wayne and their connections or communications with DTE. Okay, this is a number one item.
Okay.
We have had people at the podium from DTE. We've saved money on those street lights. And yes, indeed, I marked those street lights and from time and time.
Okay,
I didn't
thank you.
find out
Your 3
until
minutes
I
are
had
up.
I didn't find out till I had them. I'm finishing my sentence, sir.
Okay, thank you. You finished.
I'm finishing my sentence.
Obviously, thank you. Is there someone else?
I
who has a
did
question?
not know that the representative from DTE says that we, the city, that's public taxpayers, we get paid, we get charged for that light unless we report it within 24 hours. So let that be information. And that came from the mouth of Mrs. DTE. Thank you very much. And thank you for your gracious extra, well, I don't see any extra time. Sorry.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council.
First
thing I'm concerned
State your
about-
name and,
My name
sorry.
is William. I live here in Wayne on Howe Road. First thing I'm concerned about is that the YouTube for this meeting, the videos that are posted, you're not able to share or save some videos as well as not able to comment on them. And I definitely feel like comments should be open for these city council meetings. People who can't make it here this evening, can comment on those videos and have their voices heard. And the Michigan legislature was explicit in the fact that the Open Meetings Act was for the public to be heard by the other public as well as by city council on these meetings. The second thing I'd like to bring up is the citizens of Wayne are taxed far too much already, and yet city council has either been unwilling or unable to make the hard decisions to get Wayne back on track. I look at my tax bill and I see that I'm being charged almost as much for the library as I am for the police, as well as many other questionable taxes that all add up to make Wayne's taxes with this last judgment higher than Canton's taxes for the same size house. I'm sure if you ask the citizens if they'd rather have a library or double the police, they'd say safety should be first. The city of Wayne gets almost $12 million in revenue, and that isn't enough to manage a city that is 6 miles square. Does that seem right to you? Maybe Wayne can't support a library or a personal vehicle for the fire chief or a brand new vehicle for DPD or lighting down walkways that people can't walk down at night until the city can afford to live within its means without taking every penny you can from the taxpayers of Wayne. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pride.
Hello and good evening. I'm Nancy. I live in the city of Wayne. I have a question about the rec center. There was a millage for the rec center to be improved, and I'm pretty sure there was a second millage for the pool. So when we sold the property, was the pool included, or are we still owing on that pool? The other thing is I want to thank the DPW or whoever did it that weed whacked. I'm hoping that they pulled the weeds because that way they won't come back. along what I lovingly call Cobb Pharmacy area. Cobb Pharmacy is no longer there, but I like to say that. Thank you for doing that. The boys or the young men that trimmed the trees on, I think it's Richard Boulevard or Haroon Boulevard, will have to come back because the way they trim the trees, the other tree branches above where they trimmed the other ones have now snapped off and are hanging dead. So please come back and remove those. If we're going to have lights on in the park and down the trail, I think if you want to deter the type of traffic that you're having down there, then you need to put people on the trail. Lots of them that want to walk at night. That will deter the traffic that you don't want down there. And I mean immediately. If you have 20 people that meet behind City Hall and 10 go one direction and 10 go the other direction with an officer if you want to protect them, and you do that enough times, you will not have the type of life that you don't want down there. Because they'll never know when we're coming down there with an officer. They'll never know how many witnesses will be there to see what they're doing. And that's how you stop it. But I, as a taxpayer, do not like paying for lit up parkways that I can't use. I'm serious. It makes no sense. And even though those 5 or 3 owls are not in our area, doesn't mean they aren't. The red-tailed hawk is over on Courier Street in my neighborhood. So they can go pretty much where they want to go. So I just hope that you consider this way of getting rid of them, the type of whatever it is that you don't want down there. And the other thing I want to ask is the, let me find it.
I'm sorry, your time's up. Thank you.
It's probably why you're in lawsuit.
Any other questions?
Amanda Fritz, Howe Road. Good evening, Council and Mayor. I'm here tonight seeking answers to questions that many citizens are concerned about. Many have tried to voice ideas, stress concerns, write you personally, or use even social media. The point I'm trying to get across is that no matter how much they try, it fell on just deaf ears for many of years. And in my opinion, from what I've investigated, someone on this council in the past and some who have been censored, complied, or even maybe someone here took control of them. This 20-year plan you speak of seems to have the end game for Westland to annex Wayne. I'm also quite interested to know why you've all allowed the oppression of your YouTube channel. No commenting, no sharing, no saving. Also the ones that have disappeared from 2016, because when I was there checking the videos, 2016 and part of 2017 was there. So I'm just curious who recently got fired because they deleted those videos and you guys can't recover them. You may think I don't know what's going on, but people talk. Remember that. Out of respect, I just want you to know, I really hope you have the best interest in the city, because with this nonprofit, it's going to want to work with you, but only who truly want change. I also have some questions. How many lawyers are being utilized out of this law firm? How much do we pay to have a set of lawyers represent the city of Wayne? How many roads were fixed in 2020? And are there pictures to prove work was done? I also want to know, if the city of Wayne is direly broke, then how is it that we are buying up parcels and who's getting first dibs on them? And what exactly is going on with them? How many civil and federal lawsuits have been filed and are currently in litigation as we speak? Because I know a few of them. What do you think, what fund do you use to pay for the law firm and currently represents the city of Wayne, which don't worry, I already found out the information. I read that in the local paper, a resident who compelled council to take action back in February 2019 What's alarming, in my opinion, that the very same resident found himself being charged with bogus charges orchestrated by the city police and unfortunately you, Chief Strong. Now that we have yet another federal lawsuit, my question is this: what exactly is going on behind closed doors? And how is this benefiting the citizens who live here? And how do you think it reflects upon you as individuals and why nobody wants to come here to work? Nobody wants to come here to live. There's a lot of things going on, and I truly want change. My time may be up. Maybe you haven't started the clock. Thank you. But I'll tell you right now, good things are coming. And I promise you, good things are happening. People do care. I don't want to cry, but you don't understand. I go out and I talk to these people. You don't, this is a great place to live. It's not. I want to make it a great place to live. Don't any of you want to make it a great place to live? Because the decisions you are making and continue making are hurting these people who are here. The person you speak of who left that wrote that letter, I met her. 57 years in this city and she's gone. That's terrible. I want change. I've only been here for 2 years, but this is an amazing place. I used to come here when there was a farmer's market and for the concerts with my kid. We lived in Taylor, Romulus, Belleville, but we traveled out of city and gave revenue, buying things from these people. Locals, people who are trying to make a living and do different things. We feel helpless, and we don't want to feel helpless. I'm trying to give people hope. Warriors of Wayne will rise up and we will make change. Because if you don't, so many people are going to live and leave in droves. These businesses, I have great ideas that could make so much revenue for you guys and bring us out of here. But I don't have that trust. My trust must be earned, and I understand you want respect, and I'm going to give it. But in the same, I want it back. I want to be able to trust that the future of this city is actually going to stay this city. Does anybody know the history of Mad Anthony?
Yeah, thank
Why
you.
this place?
You're at your time.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Will Tungeon, Howe Road. I just want to start off by saying that the park for Atwood is, in my opinion, underdeveloped and needs improvement for both small and big kids. But I'm not here to say all the criticisms that I have. I'm here to give my solutions to help improve the park. Anyways, number one, if we created it where it looped around itself, kind of like how JC does, it might improve the experience for both big and small kids as a whole and make it a greater experience for everyone. And number two is that I think we should build a sign that commemorates all the people that had originally built the park and people like Lenny Anderson, whose plaque is just buried by a bush and left there to be forgotten. Now, in my opinion, the original park was taken down for money reasons. And because it would have been too expensive to replace all the broken pieces. Now, I have noticed that the gazebos, the picnic benches, and the fences, the exercise equipment, all of that is made from the same wood that the old park was. So in my opinion, why didn't you guys tear those down as well? Now I have just one more thing to say, and that is if you really did have to tear down the old park, why not keep the same design but use newer materials? And just a quick side note on top of this, the park says that it's ages for 5 to 12. What about the old park and how it was ages for everyone? Any and everyone could go on it. I think it's a bit shameful that people like me, who's 15 years old, can't even go on it. That is all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other? Eric?
Eric Clearman, Winifred Street. I'll just start by thanking the Wayne Rotary for the last two concerts. They're both really good. Our family enjoyed them. We're looking forward to the one or tomorrow and the one next week. And hopefully a lot of people can come to those as well. And just one other thing, which was 4-H. It's actually Tina Marie Jean, not Tina Jean Marie. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Aaron Allman, Howell Road. So everyone knows Atwood Park. And we need more materials, like he said. We need stuff, like from the old Atwood Park. Remember how we all could do stuff like parkour and we can all hide under those staircases? We need that back in the new Atwood Park. Well, you all know that it's kind of boring, but not trying to be rude. But we need parkour. We need more stuff for kids. You know that little tiny kid place where kids are supposed to go? It's a square. And that giant place, it's okay, but you can barely do stuff. And yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, let's go ahead and move the agenda.
Item number 8, consent calendar. There's 3 items on the consent calendar. Wayne Planning Commission minutes of July 13th, 2021. Wayne Downtown Development Authority minutes of July 14th, 2021. And the Wayne Building Authority minutes of July 14, 2021.
Move to approve SCIF.
Second, Wagner.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Comments from members of City Council.
Okay. Councilman Wagner?
Thank you. Just want to say concert in the park was great. The severe thunderstorms cleared out just in time for the setup, and it was clear the rest of the night. And those who came, we had a great time. I thought it was a pretty good turnout given the previous weather that we had. Just wanted to point out a couple things. One thing you have to realize with the funding of the city is that there's different funds, and that money cannot cross over. So library funding, library gets its money from its own millage. By the way, that latest millage passed by over 80% positive vote for it. That money cannot be used to the police department. It's by law is segregated. All these funds are segregated. The general fund is the only fund that can be used to fund pretty much anything we want. What else did I have on here? I am happy to support the grant funding to the police department. Again, that funding has to go to a specific use. It can only go to the police HVAC system and whatever other things the police are going to use for it. I think that the police HVAC system is an important part of our infrastructure, and I was happy to support that. And lastly, kind of on a down note, we had several members of our community pass these last couple of weeks. And I personally knew Judy Shelton, and a wife of Stan Shelton, and she was a wonderful woman, and she will be greatly missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Brock?
I was informed yesterday that 3 people have come to the city of Wayne through Hope Not Handcuffs. So I want to thank the chief and the entire police department here in Wayne, and everybody in Wayne too. So deep thanks. Now that we've achieved stability after much work and toil, I think we can take a bit of a breather, maybe a short one, but I think everyone should take a moment and take the win and appreciate the victory that all your hard work and dedication has brought to us in the city. That's everyone, every person who lives here and works here. Very good, very good. So what to do next? I have some ideas, but I'm not going to discuss how to solve them. I'm just going to lay them out briefly. And there's 7 problems that I see in my city. The 7 of them are: first, hunger. There are still people in our city who are struggling to ensure that they have sufficient nutritious food for themselves and their family. That's serious. And we need to address it. The second is water quality. We have to look out for the quality of water in our environment because we draw our drinking water from it ultimately. So I'm not talking about the water we're getting out of the tap right now. I'm talking about the system that brings it to us, the natural system. The third is too much water sometimes. Flooding. What did we just see? Some of our neighbors flooded not once, not twice, but 3 times, and maybe some 4 in one season. That's a problem. The fourth is illicit drugs and the misuse of prescription drugs, a very bad problem, and we do experience that here. The fifth is a sluggish economy. In some cases, it's not moving at all, and in any case, it's an economy that's not benefiting all of us the way it should be, and that's a problem to be addressed. The sixth is our power supply and the infrastructure supporting it. And the seventh is air quality. Just like flooding, this may be impacting just one part of the city, but if it impacts one of us, it impacts us all. And that's what Wayne's all about. So there's 7 problems, and I've taken this time to bring them to your attention, and it's now up to the people of Wayne to solve them. Thank you.
Councilman Dowd.
It's a lot. Thank you, Mayor. I too got to know Judy Shelton, wife of Stan Shelton, Stan being the president of the Chamber of Commerce and a businessman in the city, and obviously a resident. I think a lot of us saw her not too long ago, so it's very unsettling to hear her passing, and certainly everybody that was listed among many others that probably aren't. Certainly our prayers and condolences to the families. I think I'm going to stop there, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Was.
I would like to say I really do appreciate all the questions from everyone here, and do know that we are working on answering those questions. I would also like to say that just one thing from the questions that, people moving out of the city. I was on the planning commission, and I've seen a lot of business moving into the city, and I think take a look, and there's a lot more business coming in than you think. On a different note, also on August 28th is the Family Fest at Crosspoint Community Church, and I know there's a few other things going on, the vendor thing, so a lot to do in the city. Come out and join us.
Councilwoman Skiff.
Thank you, Mayor. And I also just want to add that the price is right on the Crosspoint event. It's absolutely free. So I just wanted to also express my condolences to the families of those names who were read off tonight, and also the many more that we don't know that we've lost in the city. It's been a rough, more than a year now. And, these are hard times. And I know that I've also lost family members myself, and it's not easy. So I just want to express my condolences to them, to the families and those who love them. I also wanted to thank those, the appointees and also the reappointees to the various boards and commissions tonight. I want to thank them for their service to our city. It is a sacrifice to do this, a sacrifice of their time away from their family and other things that they could be doing. So I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate you. And if there's any way that I can help make your job easier, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. And last but not least, I'm just looking forward to the concerts tomorrow. Your Generation, I believe that's the name of it, is a very popular band, and it draws a lot big crowds. So the crowds have been, I'm pleased, not too big. So, but usually it is one of our bigger crowd drawers. So looking forward to that and hope to see everyone out. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Real quick, I just want to thank the Wayne Ripple Effect for continuing the Scarecrow event again this year. I always look forward to that. And although I only put one out the very first year, maybe again one of these years I'll get around to it. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First off, I wanted to just mention I talked to our state senator. She called me today, and she's going to be having another conversation with DTE about the infrastructure of Wayne. We have been on them. We've had multiple meetings. There has been issues with a lot of communities right now, but we are definitely working on trying to get them focusing on Wayne, and they've said that they are. We're continuing to hammer on that, and I know that the state senator is on our side and is going to be making another call
on Friday on our behalf. Wanted to thank Congresswoman Tlaib for her effort in securing $550,000 for the amphitheater grounds for the Hill, and that needs a lot of work. We've been working on that, trying to figure out how to solve a lot of issues of infrastructure over there falling apart. And there was an opportunity in the congressional budget where they were looking for outdoor event types of spaces, and she didn't have anything. And so she knew about our concerts and approached us about it. So I want to thank her for her efforts and our staff that worked diligently to make sure to provide her with the information so that we could to benefit that. We won't hear till probably October. The president will have to sign off on that, but she's told me that she is confident that this money is secured. Is what she's been told by Debbie Dingle and others, and just look forward to actually having everything signed off and getting that money into our community. The concerts were mentioned. They've been great so far. Looking forward to tomorrow night with Your Generation. Encourage people to come out and check those out. It's something that for free for the community. There are some food vendors. We're supposed to have barbecue vendor tomorrow night, which will be nice, but we've tried to have multiple food options for people, and just trying to make sure things are safe. And so far, so good. We've had a very good good turnout, and we're even able to make last week happen. Out of the 8 years that we've been doing this, we've only been rained out one time, and we've had a couple close calls, but we've been able to make those shows go on. And thank you to the Rotary and our DPW staff and our police department, and all of our emergency services, because if there's an issue with something with residents, they're the ones that come out, and our staff for the work that they do on a daily basis to make sure that our city is moving in the right direction. With that, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Porter.
Support, Skiff.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Have a